Hiya everybody, so this is the video that I've been wanting to do for a while. It might be a bit of a long one, so bear with me and just watch and listen please. That'll be great. So I've had to build the confidence up, so I've only just started this channel, and first of all I want to say thank you so much. I have 80 subscribers. That's 80 people that have chose to watch my videos of me talking about eating meat, eating eggs, eating cheese, about me, about me day-to-day life, what I'm eating, and this, that and the other. But you know, where did it start? Well, where did it start? First of all, that it's like any addiction. You have to acknowledge that you've got a problem. And I definitely did, still do. Because I'm not going to say I don't no more, because I think the fact that I'm following the carnivore diet at the moment is the only reason I'm not sitting every night still eating cakes and all that and whatever. You know, and thinking, what can I go to the shop and get? And when I'm in the shop buying like food, whatever, when I'm in Aldi, you know, whatever shop I'm in, that I'm not going, oh, I'll have that. Oh, I'll have to get that cheesecake. Cheesecake was my thing. Absolutely loved cheesecake. I'm not going to lie. But the only way that I'm just having my vitamin drink as well, by the way. The only other way that I can describe it is that when it came into my head, I had to have it. I could have been sitting in the house, and if the thought came in my mind, I had to have it. And I was trainers on, out the door, along the shop, and I'd be getting cheesecake, a tub of ice cream, donuts, bars of chocolate, packets of crisps, sausage rolls, you know, pie, all of that stuff. And for a long time I was hiding it from my partner. And then I told him a few years ago. Obviously he could say I'd been putting weight on, obviously. But let me just sort of like go back a bit of when I started gaining a lot of weight, was when I used to smoke. And so I stopped smoking. How long have we been stopped smoking now? I would say I've had really challenging eating issues on and off over the last 13 years, because that's how long I've been quit smoking about 14 years. But when I first quit, it didn't creep in, the issues with food. Probably was about 6-7 months after I stopped smoking. And what it was me sister-in-law had brought to our house, like, you know, your normal stuff they bring at Christmas and that and whatever, like your boxes of shortbread, tins of like the sweets. This tin of sweet was I think it was Celebrations, and I was just sitting on the night time, and I says, just pick the tin up, And then I just started eating some of the sweets. And I ate the whole tin. Now, this is a massive tin of sweets. I don't even know how much it would weigh or how many, but a lot of sweets. A big tin of sweets. And, you know, you had in there the Mars bars, the Snickers, you know, the Galaxy, the caramel and chocolate, all them types, Maltesers, all of that type of stuff. If you're in the USA, you probably might not recognise these names of chocolate, but it's UK chocolate bars that are like in a mini packet in these celebration tins. That night was when my addiction to sugar started. So I know that when I used to smoke, I used to do most of my smoking on the evening when my children were in bed, and that I would have went out in my back garden, sat and had a cup of tea, smoking. I really used to enjoy having a cigarette, actually. I did enjoy having a cigarette. And, you know, I used to love having a cup of tea, sitting smoking, you know what I mean? And then when I quit, it was obviously like the part of your brain that creates addiction. There was obviously like memories within that part of the brain that I did something of that time of night. So because when I picked them sweets up, I think, and then I had to do it every night, and then I was doing it every night, doing it every night with the chocolate and that, and I started gaining weight. Now at that point, I wasn't overweight at all. I wasn't overweight. I probably was about, I was probably about 9 stone, which I don't know. I don't know how many pounds that is. I should have thought about this before I did the dogs running after a pigeon in the garden. So I was about 9 stone. So I was really slim. I had, you know, I went to the gym and all that. I was fit. But that's when my addictions really started. But it's more like transfer addiction. So I did that for a while. Put like a few stone on, put a bit of weight on, and then started to feel uncomfortable with myself. And I was like, don't like how I feel. And so I tried to like stop, and I did stop for a while. But every time I seemed to go through some traumatic thing, it came back. That's what I turned to, was sugar. That's what I turned to. And it was always sugar. Do you know what I mean? And carbs is just like sugar. So carbs, sugar, you know, all this, that and the other. I would say in the past 13 to 14 years, on and off, I've had food addictions, on and off. Right? And I think, you know, the reason why I've turned to sugar over my life stems back to when I was a child, right? And me nana, and she didn't know. You know, your grandparents are doing it out of love, aren't they? You know, me nana used to always like buy us loads of sweets. And like, you know, if you fall over and hurt yourself, you'd be given a biscuit or something. Oh, here, this'll make it better. You know what I mean? If you went crying into the house because you fell out with your friend, you're given a packet of sweets or a biscuit or a nice lolly or an ice cream. So I think, like, I've thought about this a lot over the last 13, 14 years of why we get these addictions to food. And I think it stems back from that kind of thing, you know what I mean? From childhood, to be honest. And then it creeps in as we adults. And the traumatic things I've experienced in the last 13, 14 years. My gran passed away 13 years ago. My addiction went bad when she died. Trauma, grief. I'm not really good with grief, to be honest. I'm a pretty strong person, you know, but grief's another level. But anyway, so then my addiction was bad when my gran died. Then I'd levelled out a bit and stuff, you know. Lost a bit of weight, you know, conventional diets, you know what I mean, thinking you're being healthy, eating salads. And then I was always in agony with my stomach after a salad. That's another story. And my mother-in-law passed away a few years after my gran died. I was really close to my mother-in-law. Me eating with the sugar and that went bad for a bit. It's like a drug. It's like what you turn to, you know. Some people it's alcohol, with me it's been sugar. And then 6 years ago was the worst grief I've ever went through. Was the worst grief I've ever went through. My granddad passed away 6 years ago, nearly. Well, in September it'll be 6 years. The 10th of September, which is next month, obviously, will be 6 years since my granddad passed away. He had Alzheimer's. He was 93. My granddad was someone to me, I adored my granddad. I adored him. I loved him so much, my granddad, you know. And it's only really been the last year, believe it or not, that I can talk about my granddad without crying, without really, you know, I feel a bit emotional now actually, but that's normal. That's natural, you know. That's natural to feel that way, you know. He was an old man anyway, you know, and stuff as well. And then about 3 years ago, I think now, one of my really close friends, Karen, who I grew up with, she was found dead in her flat. She was addicted to alcohol, but she wasn't telling anybody how bad it was. Through the lockdown, our drinking got worse. And then last year, my really closest friend, Kat, died of cancer. She was only in her 30s, she had 2 young children. And that was a big hit. And I've really missed Kat because she was the one I went to talk about everything and turn to about everything. And she's gone, and she's not here no more. And I have other friends, but not like Kat, you know. And so my addiction with food is, over the last 6 years since my granddad passed away, my addiction has been worse than ever. And I've put a lot of weight on, where I went up to about 22 stone. Absolutely huge. Now I've lost a couple of stone now. I've lost about, in the last 2 years, I've lost about 60 odd pound. Done the carnivore on and off. And the carnivore diet for me has been the only thing where I can eat food and not feel I have to have sugar. Do you know what I mean? And when you gain weight as a woman, or even a man, you lose confidence, you're not wearing the clothes you want to wear, you hate your body, you let yourself go, You're not doing your hair as much. It's only recently I've started brushing my hair. It's only recently I've started going back to the hair salon. I've got an appointment on Thursday, actually, because I'm getting my colour done again. And then I'm going to see a beautician on the 18th to get some treatments done. And it's only recently I've started doing more things for myself. I've got my skincare here that I always sit and do. I've got all my skincare here that I've started doing and feeling good. Self-care, looking after myself. You know, having me vitamins. The dog's running after another pigeon. A day in the life of me. Crazy stuff. But it's addiction. And do you know what? You go into a supermarket or a grocery store if you're in the USA, and it's the only shop you'll be able to walk in and legally, not illegal, legally purchase items to consume that should be illegal, that are detrimental to your health. That's a drug. It is the worst licensed drug available to you whenever you want. You could go in the supermarket, on the store, and you could wipe the shelf of chocolate. You could go and buy 50 pints of ice cream and buy them and walk out the shop. But really, you're killing yourself. We are. You know? And people do not recognise it still is addiction. You know, people will look at it, oh, you haven't got no willpower. You know, oh, you're fat, you're lazy, you overeat, like, you know, like, you're greedy. It's absolutely nothing to do with it. So uneducated people. It's nothing to do with being greedy. It's nothing to do with being lazy. I'll tell you one thing now, I ain't lazy. Believe me, I never stop. Even though I probably would have been bigger if I was lazy. I'm sure a lot of you will relate to this. You know, I'm a mum, I'm a partner, I'm a wife, I'm a doggy mummy, I'm a daughter, you know what I mean? I'm always busy. I run a household. Do you know what I mean? My house is clean. It's not easy, especially when I've still got weight on, but over the last 2 years, I've found things a lot easier since I've started to lose weight. Like I say, about 18 months to 2 years ago, I dabbled into the carnivore. And I fell off it after about 8 months. And then I've only recently got back into it. Today is day 42 of doing the carnivore. And do you know what? I can honestly say now that I've realised that it's the best lifestyle for me, and I don't think I'll ever go back to crappy eating, processed foods. I really don't. I really don't. Because you're just going back to the sea. You're just going to go back round and round and round. It's going to be the same result. You'll get the same result. I know that if I start adding in quite a bit of carbs and that and whatever, and a bit of sugar here and there, I'll be addicted to it. I really do. I really can't ever see me, even if I lose another 90 odd pound, because I want to lose like about another 90 pound now. If I, you know, like say if I lose that 90 pound, which I have every belief I will, and I go, oh great, I've lost all this weight, I look amazing, I've got all my nice clothes on, happy days, you know, and then I think, I need what I want now. and then I start eating the cheesecakes and all that and whatever. I'm on about in a habit way, you know. I'll put all the weight back on. I'll be back to square one. You know what I mean? You have to realise that. It's like an alcoholic normally can't start. That would be like an alcoholic cutting out alcohol and then adding a bit of alcohol back in. Over time, it'll creep up and you'll be having more and more and more and more and more. If you've been addicted to it, I don't see how you can ever go to just having a little bit now and again. I think eventually it will creep back in and take over. The same as cocaine or heroin or anything like that. Any drug. Because it is a drug. It is a drug. But I do think after, I'm day 41 today. I would think after maybe I've done this for 90 or 100 days, I might add in, I think I might add in something like a bit of sweet potato or something, to be honest. And if I go away on holiday or vacation, as you guys in America call it, we call it holiday in the UK, I might have the odd thing when I'm on holiday and then just get straight back onto it when I get home. That's different from getting into a habit of going to the shop every day and getting, I mean, I was the type of person, right, that if I bought a cake, like if I had a big cake or whatever, I would get your big dessert spoon. I wouldn't be putting any of that in a bowl. I would eat the whole thing. And it just was like nothing. It's really important, I think, to know where your problems have come from. And I know now, I've always had addictions when it comes to sugar. Sugar is the one. It's the sweet stuff for me. I don't really get addicted to carbs as such. Like, I wouldn't be like addicted to carby stuff, but I like carbs. I would say the thing that I miss a little bit would be things like white potato, you know, like chips, we call it here in America, you'd call it French fries, things like that. And now and again I'm like, oh, I wouldn't mind a few chips, but I haven't, and I don't intend to, you know. And I'm moving more now. But before I end this video, I just want to say thank you so much to all the people who subscribe to this channel. This channel is really helping me stay on plan, because I know that I'm going to be doing content. I know I need to stick to it, even though I know I need to for my health anyway. But it's important to me that there's people commenting on my videos, there's people supporting me, there's people doing this journey with me, and I don't want to let people down. And that's what I'm like as a person. So this channel, I hope it grows and grows and grows and grows, you know. I really do. I would be so happy if I built up a channel that would become more like a job. I'd love it. Because I'm loving like learning about the carnivore, learning things about things and stuff like that, and cooking all different meats, and you know what I mean. And do you know what? And I actually get excited going on butchers. Going on a butcher's now, I get excited because I'm like, I can't wait to try different things and things like that. I've realised that high beef is no good for me. I end up in too much pain, but I'm still having fat, and I'm still having some things that are high in fat that I have, just not with beef. I've got to be careful because I don't have a gallbladder, and I can get in a lot of pain. But I'm really grateful for everybody who is subscribing. Please, if you're watching this video, like, subscribe, and stay with me. Come on this journey with me. And thank you so much for showing any interest in what I've got to say. It blows my mind. Thank you guys.